To welcome members of the public who are here for the public forum. My name is Ken Knuckles. I'm President and CEO of the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone Development Corporation and a member of the Council's Executive Committee and Chair of the Scoring Committee. I'd like to thank the Borough of Manhattan Community College for hosting our meeting and our upcoming public forum today. And thank you, Dr. Antonio Perez, the President of BMCC. Seated next to me is Winston Fisher, a partner at Fisher Brothers, who has just been appointed by the governor to be a co-chair of the New York City Regional Economic Development Council. Winston, welcome, and would you say a few words?
Thank you. First off, I just want to say I'm very honored to be in this position. It's something that I care deeply about, the New York City area and our economic development. And I'm very excited to be working with the council and with everybody involved to really help make New York a better place and create jobs and economic growth. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Members, I'd ask you once again for the edification of the public, why don't we go around the table and introduce ourselves. I'm Ken Knuckles. This is Winston Fisher. Why don't we proceed from there?
Ryan Silva, oversee the Regional Economic Development Councils for ESD in the Governor's Office.
John Empire State Development, Business Expansion and Attraction.
Jerry Kassar, Senator Goldman's Chief of Staff.
Kathy Wild, Partnership for New York City.
Marlene Sintron, President of the Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation.
Marcel Vinoyen, I'm the Executive Director of GROW NYC.
Gail Grimmett, Senior Vice President at Delta Airlines.
Mike Slattery, Real Estate Board, representing Steve Spinola.
Joe Taswell, Empire State Development.
Carol Conslato, representing Queens Chamber of Commerce.
Lachey Young, representing Staten Island Borough President Otto.
Good morning, Ray Sanchez on behalf of Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr.
Okay, thank you. The New York City Regional Economic Development Council is seeking to identify a small number of new priority projects, seeking capital funding and/or tax credit funding through the Excelsior Jobs program as part of the state's consolidated funding application process that opened on May 1st and will close on July 31st at 4 p.m. As a part of its 5-year economic development plan for New York City in 2011 and in its progress reports in 2012, 2013, and 2014, the Council has identified several criteria for identifying priority projects. These include the following: relief of economic distress. New York City has the majority of New York State residents living below the poverty line. Unfortunately, few short-term employment solutions exist for people living in poverty who lack education and skills required to qualify for most of the good jobs available in the 21st century economy. Priority for support will therefore go to projects that provide opportunities for training and skills development and create improved opportunities for communities and individuals in conditions of economic distress. Second is transformative role. Projects that receive priority in this plan are those that are, one, most likely to transform some sector of the city economy by serving as the catalyst for the launch, significant expansion, or modernization of a growth industry cluster, and or two, contribute to the resurgence of an economically distressed community and or improve the quality of life or expand opportunities for the city's low-income populations. Feasibility. Priority projects for competitive funding must have committed financing, a clear time frame for implementation, and a business plan that indicates long-term economic sustainability. Interregional cooperation. The Council is interested in proposals that offer a substantive role to companies and/or other organizations in other regions of New York State. The Council is also seeking to identify strategic plan projects that may have multi-regional dimensions and will serve to boost the economic revitalization of more economically depressed regions of the state. Measurable impact. Project plans must include projections of what they will contribute to economic growth in terms of job creation, investment, business revenue generation, community benefits, cluster development, or other indices that can be monitored and measured. Leveraging. Projects that seek public funds must demonstrate the extent to which a state investment will leverage private and other public contributions, both directly to the project and indirectly through the project's multiplier effects in the city and state. Job creation. Only projects that directly or indirectly create and/or retain jobs receive priority, with special consideration for the quality of jobs as measured by the wage levels and benefits, permanence, and/or access to longer-term career advancement opportunities. Innovation. New York City has a number of assets that position it for competitive advantage in the innovation economy. Projects that strengthen and build upon these innovation assets, research universities, industry pioneers, early stage investors, entrepreneurial networks, will receive priority. Partnerships with institutions of higher education, such as Startup New York, CUNY 2020, and SUNY 2020. Such partnerships could incorporate a role for higher education in basic and applied research in an area with potential economic significance, providing training and education programs for local residents or business incubation, for example. Strong business partnerships. Projects designated as priority by the Council must have substantive partnerships with businesses and/or employers. In addition to considering the aforementioned criteria, the Council will give special consideration to proposals that align with the following 2015 Regional Council Economic Development priorities outlined in the 2015 Regional Economic Development Guidebook. Support strategies that foster the growth of an emerging high-tech cluster in fields including but not limited to biotech, health information technology, clean energy, big data, etc. Ideally, projects and proposals in emerging high-tech cluster areas should have a direct or indirect connection to advanced manufacturing. Advanced plans that strengthen the region's global marketing and export strategies and attract foreign investment as part of the Global New York agenda. Strengthen workforce development strategies. It kind of speaks for itself. Support the NYC REDC's opportunity agenda, which of course focuses on creating opportunities for upward mobility among the state's low-income residents. Identify existing business incubators for the New York State Incubator Program. Implement the Cleaner, Greener Communities regional sustainability plans. Promote veterans' participation in the workforce, and support New York Rising community reconstruction projects. These are projects that happened as a result of Sandy. These priority projects will be incorporated into the New York City Regional Council's proposal for capital and tax credit funding to be finalized in September of 2015. As a part of the process of identifying potential projects, the Council is inviting individuals representing companies and organizations with projects proposed for selection as priority projects to testify at this public forum. Now, here are the rules for today's public forum. Each presenter will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. A single beep sound will indicate when there is 30 seconds remaining. That's a signal for you to conclude your remarks. A repeating beep sound will indicate that the presenter's 3 minutes has expired, and the presenter should end their remarks. At the end of your presentation, you should leave a copy of your testimony in the box at the podium. And finally, if you have copies of material that you want distributed to the Council, Council staff will accept that from you before your presentation. Now we'll hear from the speakers, and we'll go in order of the cards as we receive them. Our first speaker is Angie Kamath from the Perscolis expansion. Angie Kamath.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Council. My name is Angie Kamath, and I'm the Executive Director of Perscolis, a national nonprofit headquartered in the South Bronx for the past 20 years. We offer job training and placement programs to nearly 600 individuals in New York City, and we're so pleased to be a partner with REDC over the past year. Our programs in IT training and our partnership with employer Doran Jones has continued to be highly successful, with our graduates getting hired into full-time software testing roles at starting salaries of $35,000 plus benefits in the Bronx. Several of Doran Jones' new hires have received significant raises within their first year of employment based on their work and value add to clients. One of those graduates, Shazad, recently went from $35,000 to a salary of $75,000 at the request of the hedge fund client where he was working. The Council's opportunity agenda is reflected in our projects and our partnerships and in Shazad's experiences. Our programs lead to good jobs with upward mobility in areas that employers demand and that are growing. Our partnership with Doran Jones over the next year will bring 150 jobs to the South Bronx. Doran Jones has already hired nearly 40 into the firm, and they are growing with each passing week. Phase 2 of this project will bring an additional 200 jobs, over 200 jobs, which was generously supported last year with Excelsior tax credits and capital funding. I'm here today to share more good news. Perscolis has an aggressive 3-year plan to nearly double our training capacity in New York City, from 500 trainees last year to 900 by 2018. This growth can only be achieved by finding a new additional location in New York City. Our facility in the Mott Haven section of the South Bronx is at capacity, and as a citywide organization, we need to do more to be accessible to our Queens, Brooklyn, and Staten Island students. By creating a second New York City office, we will better serve residents of all 5 boroughs. We have the employers. We have the job seekers. We have many generous and loyal supporters, but we are here today to ask for your help. The expansion will help us to serve an additional 300 new individuals, bringing our New York City total to 900 trainees per year in total across the Bronx and our proposed Brooklyn site. The expansion will enable us to train 50 more veterans per year, 100 more young adults, 50 more immigrants, 75 more long-term unemployed individuals, and over 120 more women to be hired as technologists. Training local talent is critical in the to the long-term success of the city, where sadly 46% of our residents live at or close to the poverty level. Our results have been consistently high in New York City and at all of our sites outside of New York City as we have expanded. We expect no less with a local expansion. 85% of our graduates, of our students will graduate, 80% will be placed in jobs, 75% will be working a year later, and at least 50% will see significant wage increases within a year. We do this by partnering with employers, but also we partner with public institutions like CUNY and public high schools. We're excited about our future and what it means for New Yorkers. We appreciate the Council's consideration of our project proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for Ms. Kamath? Thank you. Gary Kessner, Alan Suna, Silver Cup Studios.
Good morning. I'm Gary Kessner, Executive Vice President of Silver Cup Studios. I'm joined here today by Alan Suna, CEO of Silver Cup. Thank you for the opportunity to present our project, Silver Cup North. Silver Cup North will be the expansion of Silver Cup Studios to a 3rd location in the Port Morris section of the Bronx. The project consists of the conversion of a vacant warehouse at 295 Locust Avenue into a full-service film, television, and commercial production facility. Upon completion, Silver Cup North will have 4 sound stages, a full complement of production offices, dressing rooms, hair and makeup rooms, wardrobe rooms, construction shops, ancillary support space, and parking. The 4 studios in the 115,000 square foot facility will be 50 feet tall, providing the highest studios in New York City. Silver Cup North will incorporate the latest advances in soundproofing, HVAC, lighting equipment, and internet technology. The renovation project will result in 80 to 100 construction jobs, 16 permanent on-site staff, and 400 direct production industry jobs, for a total of over 500 jobs. In addition to the direct jobs provided, local businesses will see increased economic activity. Our experience in Long Island City is that the presence of the studio facility has fostered a regional cluster of goods and services such as catering, lumber, hardware, transportation, and other studios. Our budget for the total project is $39 million, which includes the cost of equipping the facility with VoIP telephony, high-speed internet access, and modern lighting and grip equipment. We are seeking $4 million in state assistance. We have already secured $24.5 million in bank financing and are committing $10.5 million in equity, resulting in a leverage of private dollars to public dollars of almost 10 to 1. We are fast-tracking the project and anticipate completion by June 2016. That would enable us to meet the production openings for 2016-2017. Silvercup North squarely aligns with the New York City Regional Council's priority of promoting the creation of a pro-job, pro-growth environment. Film and television production is a strategic industry in New York State, which is poised for continued growth. ESD has previously provided financial support for the expansions of both Steiner Studios and Kaufman Astoria Studios. The project will help create 500 well-paid jobs in a low-income, high-unemployment section of the city. It will provide the opportunity for on-the-job training. We have already spoken with a veteran specialist at the Workforce One Center about recruiting for jobs that will be created at Silvercup North. We will help reinvigorate the neighborhood, bringing a brownfield site back into productive use. As a company, we're committed to the improvement of quality of the neighborhood and the borough in which we are located. Alan will discuss the kinds of things that we have done in Long Island City. Thank you.
In my 5 seconds, I can't. But, we've been tremendous supporters of the local community, local cultural organizations, and we look forward to doing that in the Bronx.
All right, thank you. Questions for either Mr. Soon or Mr. Kestner? Marlene.
Just a quick question. We're delighted with what you've done in Queens, and we look forward to you doing the same thing in the Bronx. Are you thinking about working with our high school students or Ghetto Film Festival, incorporating some of our Bronx?
Absolutely. We right now have an internship program for like LaGuardia College students in Long Island City. We would do the same in the Bronx. I work for the last 10 years with the Exploring program, which is a high school mentoring program. I was talking to them the other day, and they asked me, can we come up to the Bronx? And I said, well, we're not ready. And they said they have very few opportunities in the Bronx to have businesses share with the high school students. So we told them that we certainly would do that. And if there are other programs that are close by, we would do the same as well.
We do have a high school that specializes in this, so it'll be, we welcome the opportunity.
Absolutely.
To bring you together.
That's what we've been doing.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Have you started construction? Did you mention that yet?
We're doing some interior demolition, but we haven't started the renovation inside. But we had to take down some walls to start up.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony Figliola and Bruce Reingold, Hunts Point Meat Market.
Good morning. My name is Bruce Reingold. I'm the general manager of the Hunts Point Market. Just to quickly familiarize yourself with who we are, there are 3 wholesale markets in the South Bronx. I represent the meat market. There's also a produce market and a fish market. We're all 3 separate entities. We're all owned by the City of New York on property leased to us by the city. The meat market is just over 50 years old. It was built in the early 60s for an industry that really doesn't exist much anymore. Most of the meat used to come into the market on rail cars, hanging meat, and now most of the meat comes in almost exclusively in box beef. So we have a very antiquated facility for today's modern industry. We have about 2,500 employees that work there. Almost all of them are New York City residents. Union employees earning $25, $30 an hour plus benefits. We have about $3 billion in sales, and the market is 100% occupied, and most of the businesses there are looking to expand. to a modern, more efficient facility. Unfortunately, the facility we have now is highly inefficient. It's an antiquated facility, and we're looking to the council for some help to upgrade, specifically now, the electrical distribution center for the market. Obviously, a wholesale meat market requires refrigeration. The entire facility of 1 million square feet is all refrigerated, and we're using 50-year-old electric lines that run underground, and many of them are highly inefficient on hot days like today, where it's 90 degrees. We have a lot of difficulty maintaining the refrigeration for the meat. And we have men up on the roofs actually pouring cold water from hydrants and hoses to cool down the equipment just to keep it efficient. And it's just not an efficient system, and we really need some help to try to get some new switchgear, electrical equipment there, which is expensive. Up to this point, all of our tenants have reached into their pocket to upgrade this facility for years and years. And it's a very competitive industry and very difficult for the tenants to keep doing that and paying rent in a business where they're making only a penny or two a pound and competing with 50 other companies in the tri-state area. So we're looking to the council to see if we can get some money to upgrade the transmission facilities in the market so we can keep the businesses there competitive and hiring new people for the next 15 to 20 years. We'd like to stay in the Bronx right where we are.
Thank you, Mr. Reingold. Questions? Kathy?
Yes. 5 years ago, as you know, the Regional Council was very excited about supporting an overall modernization, major investment in the plant with the city and state. That doesn't seem to have ever resolved itself. There was some question then about the meat market relocating out of New York City. What's the status of that overall modernization plan?
Unfortunately, I really don't know where that money is. We've never received any of it. And, to answer the question, many of the businesses here are constantly being lured by New Jersey or, the other boroughs to move there. It's just very difficult for them to continue to be competitive in the Bronx, paying the rents that we pay to the city and the wages that we pay to the union drivers and butchers that are there. That's the situation.
Marlene tells me that the specific proposal was the produce market. I had forgotten. I was thinking it was part of the same
No, it's
complex. Not. Okay, thanks.
Marlene, please.
I know that you mentioned this particular issue as an efficiency issue. I consider it more of a health issue. The Hunts Point produce market is roughly a $9 billion business for the city and the state. And as a result, it is of severe concern, should be of severe concern to us all. One of the and so this efficiency in the electrical area is something that should be concerned to us. If our meat goes down, our fish goes down, everything goes down. So one of my questions is, right now, when you don't need the meat that you are using the freezer in New Jersey. Is that so?
Yes.
All right. If there were a freezer within the Hunts Point area, would you consider having, what would be the end result in terms of savings and efficiencies to you all?
Certainly it would be a blessing if there was a large public storage freezer in the Bronx. Right now, it's almost exclusively in Newark, New Jersey. So every day trucks are going back and forth over the bridge, paying the toll, of course the cost of the driver, and the fuel to go back and forth and pick up product that's being stored in Newark, because there just is no such facility in our area.
Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
John Batista, York Studios.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me today. My name is John Batista, and I am currently the Executive Vice President of York Studios. Bronx River Media Company, which is the parent company of York Studios, is looking to build in the Bronx. York Studios currently operates one of the newest New York State qualified motion picture and television facilities in Maspeth, Queens. The company offers a broad range of production and related media support services and excuse me, has one of the state-of-the-art equipment for all production that is currently there. The current facility consists of a single stage operating, fully licensed since it's been opened in 2012. Now in its 4th year of operation, Bronx River Media Group is looking to expand and build a $90 million, 280,000 square foot production facility in the Bronx in 2 phases. We will hope to be currently located in the Soundview section. The first phase of the development is for 4 television studios with related support space such as scenery shops, wardrobes, production offices, and consisting of 132,000 square feet with a construction cost of $40 million. The second phase will encompass another 4 large studios totaling 146,000 square feet with an estimated cost of $50 million. The project site, which York Studios purchased in 2012, has been vacant for the past 2 decades with several failed attempts to have development on that property. Currently, the company is seeking financial assistance only for the first phase in order to offset some of the additional infrastructure costs associated with the development site. The project is in its final design phase, and permits will be obtained by the end of 2015. The project will address several regional economic development council strategies. We look to attract large TV, media, and new technology companies to an underserved area. It will also have a multiplier impact to the local community in the project, which will be high-quality jobs for younger and less financially productive income community. According to an economic impact analysis, we will have over 300 construction jobs, and we will have over 500 indirect and direct jobs with the multiplier effects. The operations will also generate over $200 million in annual economic activity. I have personally reached out to the local schools as well as the community boards to see how we can work together in moving forward with this development.
Thank you, Mr. Batista. Do you have anything to leave us in writing?
Yes, I do. I
Okay.
left some handouts.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Batista? Marlene?
You beat me to the punch with respect to the local stakeholders, and we're delighted about that. Certainly, this is a huge investment, and it kind of sounds like the Bronx is becoming Hollywood North, and we gladly accept it. It means amazing economic development for our area. But certainly, we will be helpful. It's not a question. But
Our infrastructure alone is $6 to $10 million for stormwater retention and waterfront promenade development, which the city will require. So we are really looking for financial support here so that we can get total commitment from lenders to finance.
And phase 1 needs to be that piece in addition to whatever you're building?
Absolutely.
And you're building what in your phase 1?
In phase 1, we're building 4 stages.
4 stages.
4 stages.
Television
to start with.
versus
For television,
movie?
they'll be definitely available for television, but we also welcome film, commercial, independent films, whatever we can help with. And that's also in regards to the local film schools, which we have been meeting with.
Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Diana Reyna.
Thank you. I just wanted to take an opportunity, Diana Reyna speaking, Deputy Borough President, on behalf of Borough President Eric L. Adams. I wanted to understand the job force development piece, the workforce as far as labor projections. Are you currently in discussion, or will you be in discussion with a local workforce development office so that there's an emphasis on local hiring?
Yes, we haven't started discussions yet because we're still right now in the permitting phases, but yes, we will look.
You will look.
Yes.
Do you have more or less an idea as to who you're going to be seeking?
Not at this time, but we are open to all and everyone, and especially within the community of the Bronx and the surrounding areas.
I just want to add to that we've been discussing for the last 3 or 4 months. New York State Department of Labor actually has a division of business services within BOEDC, and so we have had that conversation. We've also had a conversation about the distribution of a Buy Bronx list, which also is an opportunity for them to buy materials, construction materials from the Bronx in order to enhance the economic development from the very beginning.
And I appreciate that, Ms. Intron, because the piece that always gets lost in the projection of jobs is the fact that there is no real linkage, because there's a shortage of trying to engineer those conversations prior to. As much as it's early because you're still in the permitting process, it is important to start structuring what would be those conversations so that there is a real emphasis on local hiring and local contracting. And so I'm happy to hear BOEDC
has been very helpful, yes, in providing us with the information, and they've been a great resource for us.
And we want to make sure that there is a tracking mechanism, and I'm not hearing how you're going to be able to track what would be a lot of these goals that you are trying to achieve for the benefit of healthy economic opportunities for the Bronx. And so it's a piece that cannot get lost as we continue to invest dollars in the private sector, assisting what would be the growth of economic development so that there's a trickle-down effect as well as a growth at the local level.
I agree, and like I said, we've been constantly reaching out to the community board, to the local politicians to gather everybody's support, and we are completely open to ideas how we can work together to develop this project, because we need
BOEDC,
support and help.
Right,
yes, Marlene's office has been great. They've been great.
And so BOEDC can probably be the organization that will track what would be a lot of the goals met, so that there's milestones and outreach being achieved, as opposed to just the emphasis of saying that there's going to be a creation of these local jobs, because these local jobs, as far as the film industry is concerned, are shipped in.
Well, I have to say, from the industry itself, when you say shipped in, what are you referring to?
The production companies come with what would be their own staffing.
But the staff is made up from many city residents that live within the boroughs. And that's, I can say, from years of experience. The perception sometimes is that these people come from the West Coast or other areas and bring all their people in. But I can tell you, and you can look at the numbers from your local Teamsters to Local 52, all these union jobs that are part of the industry, these people live and work in the city.
Well, I'd like to make sure that there's an emphasis, Marlene, to just make sure that there's a tracking of, perhaps by zip code, as far as claiming that these jobs are, in fact, being created in the city of New York and specific to the Bronx, because I know I've taken pictures of, I just left Brooklyn and saw a production in Brooklyn where food trucks were coming in from out of the city, where you have production assistants that are coming with the set as opposed to being hired locally. And so the emphasis of making sure that these are local hires has to be real, and these apprentice slots that could be created to make sure that there's a next generation of job workforce in this field needs to be structured. It doesn't just happen for the sake of saying it's going to happen.
I agree with you, and I just want to say that we do understand the difference between the permanent staff at the studios, which should be rather large considering what it is that they want to do. We do also understand, that people are going to be renting the facility and they bring their own crews. Mm-hmm. But one of the biggest issues here is that because of the tax credits from the city and the state, the unions themselves are at capacity. And as a result, the creation of Silver Cup, or the expansion of Silver Cup into the Bronx, the expansion of York Studios into the Bronx, means that there will also be an opportunity for more union workers to be developed or brought into the union. And so we have a double hit here in terms of buying Bronx and in terms of employment, because this is state money. Fact of the matter is that the New York State Department of Labor does do that by zip code. We've been able to bring in almost 7,000 jobs since June, July, and as a result, we're now no longer number one in unemployment, but number two, because of the collaboration that we've had with the state. So we're comfortable with the relationship that we have with both studios, and I think that those who have come in to develop in the Bronx, who have done it correct, have received our support, and those, if you look at media in the next 2 days, who have not done it correctly, they've been really and truly burned at the stake by us when they've done it incorrectly. And so we now have the master plan, and we're comfortable where we are. We have a really good relationship and look forward to the further collaborations and, just as importantly, the short-term as well as the long-term employment of Bronx residents.
Thank you.
Totally agree.
And just for clarification, I'm not talking about the food trucks, but I hear what you say about like when a PA pulls up on the set and there might be out-of-state plates. What I would like to share with you is that many of those vehicles are rental vehicles. So just because it has a Jersey plate doesn't mean that that person is from there. And that's the misconception that people believe in. But as you've seen, this industry has grown over the last decade and more. From a very small job opportunities to a Boston Consultant Group it says it's a $7.1 billion industry with over 125,000 employees. So that's really what has been working for the city.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Batista. Craig Hale, Voice Technology.
Hello, my name is Craig Hale. I'm Director of Engineering at Boyce Technologies. Thank you very much for the opportunity here. Boyce Technologies is a small, rapidly growing company. We employ advanced manufacturing technology and machinery to build life-saving communication equipment. Much of this equipment is being purchased by the transit MTA and being employed in the stations for communication between stations and the customers. We are using advanced manufacturing, high technology in our manufacturing, in our electrical and mechanical design, as well as our software design. And we are a small company that's employed about 65 people. We employ them from the community, and we're growing them internally into higher positions. And we're looking to the opportunity to bring more and more people from the local community in through internships and low-level positions, and bring in higher-level positions. And I'm looking especially in the software market, which we're expanding quite rapidly into. One of our current projects is to consolidate 3 of our locations into one large location so that we can bring all of our people together in one place. It requires a lot of equipment, manufacturing equipment, and people that we'd like to grow there in advance. Currently, our location is fairly small, and we need to expand that in order to be able to grow. And that's the project that we're looking at, where we need your help to allow us to expand our operations. We like to work with local community colleges and bring in internships and grow our job infrastructure there. One of the most important things for me is that we build our equipment in New York, and we employ New York residents in building that equipment. It's like a lot of people say built in the U.S. Well, we like to say we're built in New York by New Yorkers employing this equipment here. We'd like to expand throughout New York into upstate New York as well as to other cities, building equipment for transit associations. So we'd like to expand out into other cities as well, and we're hoping that we'll expand out internationally as well. So with we would like to get your help to expand our communication equipment. I'd like to ask that you look at us as a high priority company. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hale. Questions? Diana Reyna.
I just wanted to understand, where is it that you're planning to consolidate your 3 locations into one?
Into Long Island City.
In Long Island City. So
Yes.
the current industrial business zone that exists in Long Island City, you have a site identified already?
We're looking at 2 sites, one at Pearson's and another, Van Dam. Yeah. We have 2 facilities in Long Island City right now and one in Manhattan.
Correct.
And we're looking at a place at Pearson's in Long Island City and Van Dam.
And Van Dam. And your need as far as the consolidation requires how much square footage?
I think we're looking at 60,000 square feet.
And your 60,000 square feet would not only achieve consolidation, but an expansion of your workforce?
Absolutely. We'd like to be able to double our workforce in the next few years. We're a small business, so we're currently around 60 to 65 employees. Right now we're kind of tied back by the amount of space we have. We have quite a few contracts coming this coming year, and in order to fulfill them, we're going to need more space, but we're looking at enough space that we can grow.
And so your growth, your projected growth, as far as your employees is concerned, you want to see a growth of how much?
We would like to see a growth of, double the size that we have now. So we have about 60 so people, so we'd like to get another 60, 65 people in the short term, and then, obviously grow from there.
And your request for support, as far as the council is concerned, would be requesting to help you with what?
The project is the new facility, so we're looking for support for that.
Acquisition?
It's a purchase, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Acquisition, yes.
And as well as the development of the actual new site when it's acquired?
Yes, it's part of actually the acquisition. We do have some funding from the banks. I don't know all the financials, but the plan is to purchase a facility and then we have to renovate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's both.
And the 3 sites you have now, do you own each one of those sites?
No, we're renting them.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Hale? Thank you.
Thanks.
Steve McBride, George Washington Bridge redevelopment.
My name is Steve McBride, and I want to thank the council for allowing me to present today. I'm one of the partners in the George Washington Bridge bus station redevelopment venture. In 2011, we were awarded a 99-year lease to redevelop the George Washington bus station facility. This project, when complete, will transform the existing facility into a modern transportation and retail hub that will greatly improve the quality of life in this underserved community. The first phase of the $180 million project is nearing completion, and with the additional financing from New York State, the second phase of this project will be completed in the second quarter of 2016. The project is located in Upper Manhattan on top of I-95, bounded by 178th and 179th Streets at the entrance to the George Washington Bridge. The eastern portion of the project is within the empowerment zone. The unemployment rate in this area is 1.6 times the national average. The poverty rate is 19.6%, and it is surrounded on all sides by a highly distressed census tract. The project meets the criteria for the New York State Regional Economic Development Council. We're boosting an economically distressed region. New retail will be created, reinforcing both employment and retail options. Some of our anchor tenants include Fine Fair Fresh Supermarket, Blink Health Club, Marshall's Department Store, Gap Outlet Store, and Time Warner Retail Store, and a number of successful, well-established local merchants. Estimates are that the project will have more than $132 million in economic impact. We have exceeded the original MWBE goals of 17% for this project and have reached 20%. It is our intention to exceed the current MWBE goal of 30% when incorporating the operation of the retail center. Our outreach program intends to attract employees from the local community, including targeting individuals who are looking for a fresh start, such as veterans and re-enters. We expect at least 319 new permanent jobs will be created, along with hundreds of existing transportation jobs that will be retained. An additional estimated 530 union construction jobs are in place, and 129 indirect and induced jobs will be created. The redevelopment will have a major impact by improving access to one of the region's most important intermodal transportation hubs. Residents will now have access to quality groceries in an area often referred to as a food desert. We restore an important historic structure that will physically upgrade and transform an area for decades to come. The project will leverage private investment in the reconstruction, retail, and other spaces for 60%, 40% public-private funding ratio. Our request for additional funding is in the amount of $11.625 million to provide assistance with completing the infrastructure component of this project that transforms and incorporates the local community.
Thank you, Mr. McBride. Questions? Yes. Stuart Applebaum.
Good morning.
Good morning.
When we go about doing our work, our concern with economic development is making sure that the permanent jobs that are created are good-paying jobs. I think we have a concern that if the permanent jobs that are creating do not allow people to survive in the city, then we really did not accomplish what our mandate provides. So when we talk about creating a lot of retail jobs, retail permanent jobs, I would like to know how it is you're going to ensure that the jobs that are created are not going to be minimum wage part-time jobs.
It's a great question. We approach it in three tracks. One of the things we're talking about and we mentioned is the money is because we're accommodating all sorts of local merchants. So what we're doing in addition to having the national tenants is we're having actual owners from the local community. We have 16 stores that are all locally owned. So one will have owners. Two, Marshalls, The Gap, Time Warner, and Blink all have programs to bring people up through their system into their management. So two, we'd have the management for the national people. We'd have the local ownership. And three, we'd have the jobs on the floor, and they'd actually be a progress through the ranks in order to become management. So we believe there's a process that you can actually be a role model for the people to see local management from national areas, plus local people who actually own stores in one of the key areas of that particular development.
So I hope that there would be more than just a road to opportunities for some people in the future, but that for all the people who come in, that we are able to do something even when they begin to know that the effort from the REDC is going to allow them to also have jobs that allow them to maintain themselves in New York. So I think that would be something we would want to work on with you.
We agree. We want that as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. McBride? Marcel Van Ooyen and then Ms. Cintrone.
Just real quickly, the last sentence of your paper, it mentions an unexpected shortfall. This was a Port Authority project originally. What was the shortfall from?
The shortfall is that what we're asking for is in order to, what we've done is we've redone our whole mall area such that we can accommodate all the local tenants. This would be local merchants. So what we've done is we've upgraded all the electrical such that they can have more restaurants for the local community. We've redone all of the mechanical systems. We've also had some of the local merchants have elevators and escalators in there. And the thing to remember in everything in terms of the cost here, it's not like we're building out on a ground. We're actually building over I-95. So we actually have to have platforms. We have to work in the middle of the night, shut down particular roads. So when we put in a new pipe, it's not like we're just putting in a new pipe in. We're putting in a whole platform below it and running the pipe. So what we're doing is we're redoing the interior for the local tenants, and the cost to redo that whole thing so that we can have the tenants and the ownership in the local communities where the cost is.
Is that in addition to the original plan that you proposed to the Port Authority? Or?
Yes, it is. What it's done is it's enhanced. We brought in more things. The Port Authority, it's two parts to this. The Port Authority is bringing in the bus station. So what we're doing as part of the process is the community as well as the whole regional area is getting a new bus station with advanced electronics so they can track the buses. Simultaneously, we're putting in a whole retail center. And what we've done is modified the retail center. For one, we're putting a community room in for the local community, so there's the cost we've had.
I'm sorry. What are the changes from the original plan that you are now funding, or is it just cost overruns that you're trying to?
We're doing two things. We've upgraded the electric and increased the size of it. That wasn't originally in there. Two, what we're doing is we're adding elevators that we didn't have previously because of the type, in order to have ADA access in some of the two-floor stores that we have there as well. And three, what we're doing is we're modifying things that weren't in the original plan for access for loading off of 178th and 179th rather than loading on the street itself. So those are modifications to the original plan.
Marlene?
Just a quick question. In your third paragraph, you indicated that the GWB Market Mercado will be home to successful, well-established local merchants. I know this neighborhood to be one where there has been a large amount of displacement and commercial property warehousing. So can you give us an indication of which local merchants will be able to participate in this project?
We have a list. I don't have it in front of me. I can get that to you as to that, if that would help as part of the package, so that you'll have that full list.
I think that would be good.
Yes, we agree.
Other questions for Mr. McBride? Thank you.
Thank you.
Sayer Laniel. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. Sayer Laniel, NYU?
Yeah. Sayer Loniel.
Sayer.
Good morning. My name is Sayer Loniel, and I'm with New York University Polytechnic School of Engineering. In partnership with Industry City, Mass Challenge, and the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, we are investing in an urban technology growth hub focused on creating and supporting an entrepreneurial ecosystem. Components of our $10 million project located in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, include an accelerator, an incubator, step-out space for more developed startups, prototyping facilities, as well as an event and demonstration space available for programming. We are here before the council today to seek $2 million in support of this project from the New York City Regional Economic Development Council. The specific component of the larger tech hub project that we are asking the council to support is the construction of a 10,000 square foot space focused on infusing veterans with entrepreneurial skills, supporting veteran-owned businesses, and incubating veteran startups. NYU has a proven track record of managing successful incubators throughout the city, including having earned New York State Certified Business Incubator designation in 2013. Since 2009, our 3 incubators have created over 1,200 jobs, raised more than $145 million in funding, and generated over $350 million in local economic impact. The portfolio of the 51 successful graduate companies is worth over $720 million. We will bring our expertise to this new project by providing veteran-owned companies the environment and resources necessary to progress from ideation and first entry into the marketplace to sustainable and scalable ventures. Specifically, the incubator will target veteran-owned startups in addition to members of the local Sunset Park community. Industry City is a leader in the growth of New York City's innovation economy, and we believe this is an ideal environment to develop a veteran-focused incubator that will enrich and diversify the community both locally and citywide. In addition to providing space and resources for new companies, the incubator will also operate a veteran-focused entrepreneurship training program. The Veteran Entrepreneurship Training Program will assist in developing entrepreneurial skills by enabling participants to take ideas from inception to the creation of businesses. The curriculum is designed to teach transferable soft and hard skills such as sales, legal, accounting, development, design and marketing, as well as prototyping. The 10-week program will run throughout the year, training up to 20 individuals per session. We hope to seek assistance through the Department of Labor funding in the REDC process for this program as well. The innovation ecosystem we are proposing is a cradle-to-maturity business development platform that would start with classes, continue into an accelerator, followed by residency in the incubator, and eventual location into the adjacent step-out space. Our goal is to expand the successes from the Brooklyn Tech Triangle and encourage the proliferation of the Innovation Coast. We hope the REDC will see the importance of such an urban technology growth hub to the Sunset Park area, to the city, and to the state, and support the hub by naming it a priority project. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Well done. Questions? Cesar.
I see the total project's $10 million. You're asking the council for $2 million. Is the other $8 million raised already, or are you raising it?
The other $8 million is both in the process of being raised and through other grants.
Okay.
Deputy Borough President.
Thank you very much. Sayed, thank you very much for this description of what is being proposed. I just wanted to understand, is there a identified population of vets?
So we currently ran a pilot for the first time ever this summer of the Veteran Entrepreneurship Training Program. We are probably 2.5 weeks away from its completion, and we have 14 veterans that we sent out with. We partnered with Assemblymember Joe Lenthal in the Brooklyn Chamber to really send out this application to find out if veterans were interested in engaging in entrepreneurial learning. We think that there is a large population. We're partnering with the Bunker as well as other veterans groups that exist and that are bubbling up in the city and in the state. So we're going to partner with other sources to try to find the population of veterans to be able to come to Sunset Park if we are so funded and be able to start this project, because we know that when vets come back home from their service, we want to engage them into this growing innovation economy, and we feel like we can do that both with our successes through our incubators, but also with our partnership with Industry City, which has a grassroots growing innovation economy that's developed out in Sunset Park. And we think by joining with them as well as the Chamber, we'll be able to find that source.
And as far as the program is concerned, there is zero manufacturing occurring or production of what would be manufacturing a product out of this concept.
Oh, well, the prototyping space that we mentioned as part of the entire growth hub would actually have the ability for both startups and the potential for people who are participating in the program to really go and work in this prototyping space, which would be adjacent, and they'd be able to create a product. But no, as far as mass manufacturing, that's not part of this. But again, that's the pleasure of being out in Industry City, because there's 6 million square feet of space that hopefully that these companies, after they were able to grow through the process that we're talking about, which is coming in to learn, then be part of the accelerator, be part of an incubator, be part of step-out space, will then be able to function in the competitive New York City real estate market that we would be adjacent to right in Industry City, but also citywide.
And what local organizations in Sunset Park are you working with?
So we've been working with Industry City, and we know that they have their Innovation Lab, which is a workforce development service that they have existing right there. So we're going to work directly with them because we know that they have their grassroots in the community. But we're open to working with many different players, and we really want to make that happen.
Has this brought into the conversations with Uprose?
At this point, no.
Okay. I just wanted to understand what is the connection to the community, considering that Sunset Park as a community is being targeted and the relationship being built out at the local level beyond what is Industry City.
Right. No, so Industry City has created this innovation lab, and I don't want to speak for them, but I know they've created this innovation lab, which is a workforce development facility within there that works with the local community. We want to tap into that, but we'll also work with the community board and the local electeds to target populations who are not only veteran oriented, but also want to participate in some of these entrepreneurial classes in the programming space that I mentioned that we were part of the space.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric Ottaway? Ottaway. Oh, it's a T, not an H. Okay. Ottaway. Eric Ottaway.
Good morning, and thank you. I'm handing out a one-pager for you, and I'm going to ask you to resist flipping it over and looking at the picture on the back, because it gets me really excited when I see what this project can become. We received from the council an award in the 2014 CFA of $2 million in grant and $4 million in Excelsior tax credit for what we believed at that point to be a $70 million project, creating 92 new permanent jobs, full-time jobs. Since then, we've realized that this project has even bigger potential than we initially imagined. And its scope is now expanded to a $120 million project creating 115 full-time jobs and additional part-time jobs. The reason for that, this expansion, is a couple items. First of all, when we entered the CFA process in 2014, this project was very young in the process, and we did not have terribly accurate cost projections on the building. Secondly, we've realized that our thinking needed to be bigger than it was in the first round, that there's an opportunity to really create a landmark manufacturing facility in New York. And in fact, we believe that this $120 million facility will be the biggest manufacturing investment in New York City in over 30 years. In order to do that, we need to take on an additional 5 acres of land that allow us to further expand from the initial 1 million barrel capacity design to a total eventually of 2 million barrels of capacity. To do that, we need to further invest in the infrastructure, utilities, equipment. We also want to further expand our engagement with the wetlands that are there, and rather than turning our backs to them and ignoring them, further engage with the wetlands, opening up to the public, creating an even more sustainable facility, incorporating green roof design, bioswales, etc. We're excited about a conversation we've been having with NRG, who's a big power provider, and we'll work with them to create our own microgrid so we don't add further pressure to the utility infrastructure that's out there. Lastly, we think there's an incredible opportunity to create a manufacturing tourist destination to further attract people onto Staten Island, creating more jobs and more excitement, in addition to all the redevelopment that's happening with the New York Wheel Empire stores. Thank you.
So what is your ask in this application?
We are asking for $5 million in grant money and further tax credits if possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is this one working? Yeah, sounds like it is. Good morning. Thank you for your attention this morning. My name is Marcus Berkowitz. I'm the Director of Technology and Innovation for Grameen America. Grameen America is a nonprofit community development financial institution. We provide small loans and other financial services for low-income women in economically distressed neighborhoods all across New York and across the country. Since our start in 2008, we've invested over $200 million in economically distressed communities entirely to low-income women. That's nearly 100,000 loans. And we currently have about $23 million outstanding to about 22,000 borrowers. That's a lot of very small loans. Our average loan size is around $2,000, between $2,000 and $2,500. We have branches in 4 of 5 boroughs, and our Sunset Park, Brooklyn branch services Staten Island as well. We've got a couple of hundred members there as well. We have about a 70-person field staff workforce in New York. All of those folks are actually from low-income communities in New York. And what we're here for is a relatively modest $300,000 request as part of a $1.5 million technology build-out budget. What that is for is it's really a transformative technology for us. We have partners in Apple, Citibank, and Capital One who have partially funded this project. And we have a SBA Prime grant pending. So we need the additional $300,000 to build out a new loan database. We have our current loan database it sort of does the bare minimum. And what we want to do is really transform that system to engage our members, give them the same sort of financial services experience that you and I have every day with our financial institution. So what does that mean? Our two main goals are staff productivity and efficiency. So we'll be able to actually serve a projected additional 3,000 more members just during the grant period, just in New York City. So again, that'll be a much higher number as we go forward. So that's a projected 59 jobs created and 294 jobs sustained just in the period of the grant. That doesn't include, just to emphasize, it doesn't include further to the grant. And the other goal is really transformational. What we really want to do is be able to put, in the same way as you and I, log on to our banking, our financial institution on our phones and are able to see our account history. We want to be able to give that same service to folks who've never had that. Our 20,000 low-income women entrepreneurs right here in New York City who've never been able to do that on their phones before. We would like to give them access to the information that can really allow them to build and grow their businesses and build better lives for their families. Thanks.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Berkowitz? Marlene Centron.
Do you have a relationship with any financial institution at this particular point that allows these 20,000 women to be able to somehow be involved in some sort of a banking?
We do. So we offer loans, but we partner with Capital One, Citibank, and others in other parts of the country to provide low-cost savings accounts.
What would they, I don't understand, what would they be able to see on their phones that they wouldn't see?
So typically those products don't actually, the ones that our bank partners help us with don't sort of come with those features. And what that would allow them to see is actually their loan balances and accounts with us, all of their information. It basically gives them, it becomes their system instead of our system, right? So they'd be able to actually look into that, see all of their account balance, apply for loans. We have a group lending model that allows all of the members of that group to actually approve the loan. So that would take place through the app. So the idea is to really turn it from a system of record into a system of engagement for our members so that they can interact with a financial institution in a way they've never done before.
And these 20,000 low-income women who are, how much have you lent out so far?
We've lent out in New York City alone over 200, it's about 212 million invested in the last 7 years.
And what's the average interest rate for these loans?
The interest rate is 15% on a declining balance over 6 months. So what that looks like on a typical $1,000 loan is we're making about $38 on a $1,000 loan.
But if you're doing 15%, it's annualized. It's not.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15% annual. APR.
Annual. Okay.
Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Willa Appel, New York State Structural Biology.
Good morning. I'm Willa Appel, the Executive Director of the New York Structural Biology Center. The center is a consortium of 9 major academic institutions in New York and all the boroughs. When we opened our doors in 2002 in Harlem, our first objective was to give faculty of our 9-member institutions access to the most advanced instrumentation in the field of structural biology. Thanks to a decade of federal grants, early financial support from the state and city council, and recently a generous grant from the Simons Foundation, the center is now the most comprehensive and advanced center for structural biology in the United States. Until last year, access was restricted to our 9-member institutions, but now we've opened our doors to the private sector, and we're helping small businesses, small companies, biotech, biopharma companies, as well as academic innovators who are spinning off their own companies. We're proposing an incremental expansion to our existing capabilities so as to better meet the needs of the biomedical companies coming to New York, and one that will enable us to play a major role in the personalized medicine initiative that the state has already invested in. The expansion would consist of a 2-for-1 match. We will raise $20 million, and we're requesting a total of $10 million from the state. $3 million of that would come as requested from REDC. For personalized medicine to really take off in New York, it needs to have strong structural biology capabilities, because structural biology is the key to drug development. Genes are just a code. To understand what goes on in the body, You have to visualize the implicated molecules in 3 dimensions because those are the prime actors in the body. And that's what structural biology does. It reveals the 3-dimensional shape of molecules and it tells you about the precise 3-dimensional shape that a drug or compound must have to fit exactly into a drug target. It's like a key fitting into a lock. Without this key component, you only get partway down the pipeline toward developing highly tailored, personalized drugs to address disease. While major pharmaceutical companies have structural biology capabilities, smaller companies and startups do not. Our request to RADC would consist of 3 elements: completing an experimental station at Brookhaven National Lab, housing a $5 million new electron state-of-the-art microscope at our center in Harlem, and renovating a lab in Harlem. Our request for $3 million will significantly advance New York's efforts to become a biomedical hub for the nation. We'll hit the ground running. We have a $100 million infrastructure already, and this will attract new companies, new jobs to New York. We will be a catalyst to personalized medicine, and we are going to create new jobs and attract new jobs to New York. We have a preliminary estimate. There's 100 construction jobs, and I won't tell you the rest. Thank you very much.
You want to conclude?
Thank you.
One sentence or so?
We haven't yet done the estimate of how many biomedical jobs will be created by this project. We know that there are at least 50 jobs upstate New York in manufacturing for a very specialized industry. There are jobs that will be retained at Brookhaven National Lab and jobs that will be created in New York. All of these are high-tech biomedical jobs or technology and high-tech manufacturing jobs. So they're very good jobs. And this is not to speak of the jobs that we believe that will be created, because this is going to really support the development of a biomedical cluster here.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you. Peter Malinowski, New York Harbor Foundation.
Thank you. For thousands of years, 300 square miles of oyster reef dominated the rich estuary that surrounded New York City. These oysters are virtually gone, which impairs our estuary's ability to clean the water and absorb excess nitrogen. The loss of reefs has reduced protective habitat, destabilized the harbor floor, and left our shoreline vulnerable to destructive wave action. Meanwhile, the public school system continues to struggle to find methods for engaging students in their studies. Recent pedagogical frameworks focusing on STEM education, place-based, and inquiry-led learning have emerged as priorities for the Department of Ed. The Port of New York employs over 300,000 people. Fewer than 12% went to public school in New York City. We have lost our connection to the harbor, and as a result, our students no longer have the access to or knowledge of these careers. The Billion Oyster Project is a systematic tool for addressing these challenges. Through BOP, we will build a richer, more productive, and more protective harbor and an engaged generation of public school children with the skills and ethics of authentic scientific inquiry and environmental stewardship, and the confidence that comes with being prepared for careers in growth industries that are in demand locally. Restoring 1 billion live oysters into New York Harbor is a crucial step towards estuary restoration and proactive planning for global climate change. Students at the New York Harbor School have been growing and restoring oysters to New York Harbor for the last 7 years. They have learned to scuba dive, operate and maintain vessels, build and operate commercial-scaled oyster nurseries, design underwater monitoring equipment, and conduct long-term authentic research projects, all in the murky, contaminated, fast-moving waters of one of the busiest ports in the nation. Recently, they have been joined by a growing number of middle school teachers and students. Through a National Science Foundation-funded collaboration, students at almost 50 schools learn their science lessons through the lens of oyster restoration and participate directly in hands-on field experiences. These efforts also support the goals of the Army Corps' Comprehensive Restoration Plan and have become a proposed component of coastal green infrastructure projects being implemented by New York State and New York City. The Billion Oyster Project is a critical element of the Living Breakwaters Project, a Rebuild by Design winning and New York Rising supported project. The proposal includes the expansion of our shell collection program from 20 to 40 restaurants, Oyster shells are a limiting resource for oyster restoration, and unfortunately, the vast majority of oysters consumed in New York City have their shells carted to Point South to be landfilled. And two, scaling Harbor School's oyster hatchery and remote setting facility to provide the required volume of oyster spat and juvenile oysters locally to meet the demands of restoration projects. Billion Oyster Project is blue-green jobs training, ecosystem restoration, shoreline protection, public school education, community involvement, and resiliency. It's an initiative of the New York Harbor Foundation and born out of a partnership with the New York Harbor School, a small marine-themed public high school on Governor's Island. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from Mr. Malinowski? Thank you. Alex Powell, New York City Economic Development Corporation.
Good morning, Council. My name is Alex Powell from the New York City Economic Development Corporation. I'll be speaking on a food and beverage co-packing facility. New York State has a long-established cachet for top culinary products and experiences, from premium agriculture produced upstate to restaurants to world-class restaurants in New York City. But New York has also succeeded in the development of food and beverage manufacturing entrepreneurs who design and develop some of the most innovative and diverse products in the nation. Half this subsector comprises of minority and women-owned businesses that provide pathways for job advancement, from traditional manufacturing to more skilled and creative work in product development, sales, and marketing. The city has supported food and beverage manufacturing ecosystem through a network of incubators and programs that have led to the proliferation of small and emerging firms over the last 10 years. However, there's been an absence of local contract production services that prevent these emerging firms from meeting unexpected and fast-growing demand from large retail partners. In order to allow these growth stage firms to tap into new retail opportunities without the high capital investment usually required to scale production, the EDC will invest in a new co-packing facility to provide affordable contract manufacturing services for local food and beverage manufacturing entrepreneurs to grow their production operations in New York City. The facility will remove growth barriers for these small and emerging manufacturing businesses by allowing them to easily manufacture, package, and distribute their products around the world, expanding the New York food brand. The facility will also support the regional food system by generating new upstate-downstate connections for making, marketing, and selling regional foods. The facility would serve dozens of businesses per year and produce 200,000 to 400,000 units annually, and would result in dozens of new permanent jobs on site and the indirect and induced creation of hundreds of permanent quality jobs over the next 10 years. Thank you.
Questions from Mr. Powell. Marlene Cintrone.
Do you have an idea as to where you're going to place this co-packing facility?
We released an RFP for this project on June 1st. As part of the RFP, we asked respondents to provide a location that they would find ideal, and as part of the selection criteria for that RFP, we have asked them to identify the community and neighborhood benefits and context as part of their response. So no, we have not. We looked at the respondents to bring that in their proposal.
And by respondents, who are you looking for to respond?
We're looking for several different characteristics of respondents. We actually see them typically as multifaceted. Definitely the development and operation abilities, so that the experience in an industrial facility, but also the culinary expertise to actually produce these production runs for some of the emerging food entrepreneurs.
Well, let me just say that I am increasingly receiving in the Bronx a large number of businesses in Brooklyn that have no place to expand to for lack of space and or pricing, and as a result, they're moving to the Bronx. And so I, not putting in a plug, but certainly do want to underscore the trend that if there is this kind of an interest or opportunity, that it really should be in the Bronx in light of the fact that we have the 3 markets there and we're the only place that has any available space left. So it does create other opportunities for small businesses to continue to grow and thrive in Brooklyn. But certainly if you're looking to do a downstate, upstate, as the borough that is the stepping stone to upstate New York, I just strongly encourage you to strongly consider any Bronx offers.
We're so fortunate the food economy is very robust in all the boroughs.
Any other questions? Diana Reyna.
Thank you for the presentation. The co-packing facility issues in the council, I remember as chairing the Small Business Committee, was a big deal. And finally, I see EDC paying closer attention to co-packing facility needs. I want to understand, as far as your release of this RFP, did the opportunity for any real estate asset in EDC's portfolio were perhaps included in this RFP as discussion?
That was certainly one of the first areas to locate the facility, was our early discussions. However, one of the biggest costs for this facility, for developing it, will actually be a food-grade facility and all the costs required to renovate a space for that. EDC didn't have any in particular for the size, the scale for this facility.
How much space are we talking about?
Our estimates, based off our previous feasibility study, was approximately 10,000 square feet of space.
10,000 square feet of space for a co-packing facility.
Correct, which would be a combination of warehousing, production, and a little ancillary office.
And you have no asset in the EDC portfolio that would accommodate 10,000 square feet?
That is food grade as well.
And so, we need to follow up with a conversation as far as Brooklyn properties that are concerned, with interest to what would be the developing of a co-packing facility that we've been in discussion with EDC about. I just wanted to understand, even beyond what would be the square footage, what is the potential for the operator to want to have to invest in their own? Have there been interest that you are collecting from private operators with the interest of investing in a co-packing facility in the city of New York?
Yes, we've received definitely some interest as we had an info session and had many people attend, or a couple dozen attend, excuse me. But also, just to your previous concern of investing in a city property, we actually listed explicitly that you could look at some of the city properties available. We didn't direct them explicitly to it saying this is where it must be, but we certainly said this is where you could find those available spaces. However, you might not find something that is food grade, but the renovation cost that would be required for that is totally understandable and something we want to see in their proposal.
And how does your proposal encourage what would be barge and rail access to the facility?
We have asked all the respondents in their proposals to talk about what the benefits of their location would be, whether it's neighborhood economic impact or it might be transportation access, because we do believe that a lot of the products produced here do have a global network or global market for the retail opportunities. So that is something we would consider as well.
And is part of the RFP also taking into consideration encouraging what would be international trade?
Well, that's a hope of ours. It's not an explicit goal or requirement of the facility, but we do think that the entrepreneurial ecosystem of our food manufacturing system would warrant a international scale.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julianne Herskowitz.
Hi there. Good morning. My name is Julianne Herskowitz. I'm a vice president at the New York City Economic Development Corporation. I'm pleased to be able to present to you today our proposal to grow and support New York City's emerging tech cluster through the creation of affordable office space in downtown Brooklyn. This project seeks to create affordable Class B office space in downtown Brooklyn to meet the growing demand of the borough's emerging tech cluster. Today, the Brooklyn Tech Triangle, which encompasses the neighborhoods of Dumbo, downtown Brooklyn, and the Brooklyn Navy Yard, is home to over 500 innovation firms, which includes over 9,000 tech jobs and supporting an additional 23,000 jobs. Approximately 10% of all tech firms are located in the Brooklyn Tech Triangle, which represents the largest concentration outside of Manhattan. This includes some of the most successful and dynamic companies in the industry, including Etsy, Genius, and MakerBot. The area's current tech cluster is expected to double over the next 2 years, resulting in 18,000 direct jobs and 43,000 indirect jobs. The major impediment to that growth is real estate, and to be more specific, that's specifically affordable office space. The current office vacancy rate in downtown Brooklyn is just 3%, compared to the vacancy rate of lower and midtown Manhattan, which are each almost 10%. So this project aims to solve this problem by creating a $1 million matching grant fund that would incentivize the retrofitting of existing vacant commercial space into flexible, affordable office space. Each public dollar spent would be leveraged for $2 of private investment, resulting in $3 million of total investment in downtown Brooklyn. The matching grant fund would unlock over 20,000 square feet of currently underutilized and vacant commercial space to create new affordable office space with flexible lease structures and floor plans that better align with the needs of tech companies. The creation of this new affordable office space would accommodate nearly 150 new tech jobs, in addition to dozens of new direct and indirect jobs for construction. Funding from the New York State Regional Economic Development Council is critical to leveraging private investment dollars and creating new affordable office space in downtown Brooklyn. If awarded, the grant application would be released in winter of 2016, with selection occurring by spring of 2016 and implementation commencing thereafter for the following year to the spring of 2017. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for Ms. Herskowitz? Thank you.
Thank you.
Raphael Farzan Koshani.
Members of the REDC, good morning. My name is Raphael Farzan Koshani. I'm an Assistant Vice President at the New York City Economic Development Corporation. I'm here to present our proposal for a Harlem Life Sciences Incubator as a game-changing priority project for the local economy. It is our firm belief that this project fulfills the vision of the REDC's 5-year economic development plan for New York City. We are seeking $1.5 million for an approximately 14,000 square foot incubator. I would like to draw your attention to the ways in which this project addresses the Council's selection criteria. The incubator plays, number one, a transformative role. It also builds on the city's innovation economy. And it is a feasible near-term project that will deliver measurable impact in the Harlem area. In terms of its transformative role, we are accelerating the growth of New York City's biotechnology industry by addressing unmet demand for early-stage wet laboratory facilities. Given the current amount of lab space available, it is projected that over the next 3 years, we will see an unmet need for at least 10,000 square feet of lab space for seed-stage life sciences companies and 45,000 square feet for early-stage companies in life sciences. This is especially in light of our launch of the $150 million Life Sciences Funding Initiative. We will also contribute to the Harlem community. The presence of a cutting-edge incubator in an otherwise distressed area of East Harlem will allow for organic growth of a top-tier technology sector in Upper Manhattan. We will create jobs, opportunities for lower-income populations, including jobs associated with lab maintenance and lab administration. In addition, as you suggest as an important priority for your priority projects, we will build on the innovation community. We are partnering with local research institutions. We have already on a number of occasions and will continue to do so with this initiative, including the NYC's preeminent pool of academic medical centers. We will also build business partnerships. We have already built 5 major industry partnerships through our Life Sciences Funding Initiative and another 2 industry partnerships through this particular initiative, and we look forward to building on that with your support. We will also interact with the applied research efforts in the Harlem community, including City College and Columbia University, with the launch of the nearby Advanced Sciences Research Center. Also, note that these are 2 members of the National Science Foundation's Regional Innovation Node. And then finally, we will reach out to regional cluster anchors, given Harlem's proximity to Westchester and the local regional biotechnology community. At the end of the day, it is a feasible project. We have supported this initiative vis-a-vis the NYCDC on behalf of the City of New York with $1 million. We have 2 private sector partners, including a major real estate developer, as well as the Partnership for New York City Investment Fund. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you. Sander Dolder. Sander Dolder.
Good morning. My name is Sandro Dolder, and I represent the Urban Innovation and Sustainability team at the New York City Economic Development Corporation. Thank you for giving the opportunity to share our vision to make New York City a cluster for smart city innovation. Smart city technologies present an opportunity for New York City to create exportable products and services, providing job opportunities across skill levels while addressing key infrastructure needs, including energy, waste, water, and transit. Local development of a smart city technology cluster has faced unique barriers, including the lack of affordable, flexible physical space to increase collaboration, limited access to specialized equipment and knowledge, and difficulty finding deployment sites for key urban system challenges. Last fall, we began developing an initiative that dedicates 50,000 square feet or more of space to high-growth companies, providing flexible real estate, prototyping facilities, and shared services. This initiative is predicted to create over 8,000 jobs over a 10-year period. We are looking to select an operator this August and to have an official launch by Q2 2016. Our proposal today is to build an innovation center leveraging this current initiative. Smart City Technology Innovation Center will focus on some of the most vexing urban challenges in New York City today, connecting small businesses with the physical tools and knowledge to create new solutions. This center will operate within New York City's technology ecosystem and workforce development programs, encouraging private and public sector collaboration to develop faster-to-market solutions that address resiliency, sustainability, and infrastructural needs. Entrepreneurs working in the space will design, create, test, and manufacture these solutions in and around New York City. The Innovation Center will forge partnerships with regional academic institutions, government organizations, and the tech sector. This initiative will help make New York City a global leader in smart city innovation. We're seeking $3 million in capital investment for the design, construction, and fit-out of the space for the Innovation Center, including prototyping equipment, the setup of a showcase space, and event space. The city has committed $7.2 million for operations, including staffing, rent, and equipment. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you, sir. Julianne Herskowitz.
Hi again. Julianne Herskowitz, Vice President for Development at the New York City Economic Development Corporation. I'm very pleased to be able to present this project to support the manufacturing cluster in the East New York Industrial Business Zone through redevelopment of the former East New York Long Island Railroad substation. Redevelopment of the former Long Island Railroad substation, East New York, presents an extraordinary opportunity to transform a dilapidated building and catalyze major investment in the economically distressed neighborhood of East New York. The former substation was built in 1903 and is one of 3 surviving substations of the Long Island Railroad's Rockaway branch. As you can see from the photos on the second page, it is an attractive brick building with terracotta detailing that may also have historic value. However, since being vacated in the 1970s, it has fallen into significant disrepair, and due to its former use as a substation, will require site remediation. The building is approximately 30,000 square feet in size and sits at the gateway to the East New York Industrial Business Zone. It is also well served by multiple modes of public transportation. This project aims to adaptively reuse the former substation and transform the dilapidated structure into a center for economic opportunity. After remediation and rehabilitation, the building would be activated with a mixed-use program, including ground floor retail, an office incubator and/or light industrial production space, and a workforce training and job center for the industrial business zone. The project would create over 60 indirect and direct jobs in the construction industry, in addition to the hundreds of jobs that would be placed annually through the proposed workforce training center. Preliminary cost estimates suggest that the total redevelopment would cost over $12 million. A $5 million grant from the New York State Regional Economic Development Council would help fill the anticipated funding gap that cannot be paid for by the project alone. This is due in part to the considerable rehab costs and the poor market conditions of the area. The remainder of the funds required to rehab the building would be borne by the selected developer. NYCEDC and the Metropolitan Transit Authority have already begun the process of completing a structural integrity analysis and a Phase 1 environmental assessment of the site. We anticipate moving forward with a competitive procurement process to select a developer and operator of the site in the first quarter of 2016. Funding from the Regional Economic Development Council is essential to making this project pencil out and to ultimately deliver a catalytic development project in the chronically underserved neighborhood of East New York. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex Villari.
Good morning. My name is Alex Villari. I'm the Director of Advancement at the Center for Social Innovation in New York City. Thank you so much. CSI New York City is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to providing social enterprises, nonprofits, social ventures, community leaders, and creatives with the spaces, relationships, and knowledge they need to grow their ideas and achieve lasting impact. We are seeking a 3-year, $375,000 grant from the New York State Certified Incubator Program to support our operations and programs. CSI New York City is unique. We house 200 social change organizations at our 24,000 square foot facility located in the Starrett Lehigh building in Western Chelsea. We also operate in an event center. I call it Boot Camp by Day and Benefit by Night. We provide training, education, and networking opportunities to 25,000 people annually, many of them from New York City and New York State, but also we're a global interchange for people who care about social enterprise across the world. Our resident companies focus on an array of areas, including alternative to incarceration programs, energy efficient design and green building, K-12 education and STEM, and healthy food. We house over 500 full-time jobs at our facility, and during the course of the project, we estimate that we will add approximately 200 jobs in New York State. We're unique as an incubator in that we are very connected to the business community. Our partner in our venture is RXR Realty, and our board chair is Scott Reckler, President and CEO of RXR Realty. We are also connected to the Blackstone, JP Morgan Chase, and McGraw-Hill Financial. Our academic partners, which are quite large, include Fordham, Parsons School of Visual Arts, Columbia's Tabor Center for Social Enterprise, and New York Institute of Technology. We will be able to leverage this support approximately 4-to-1 through board contribution, foundation grants, and corporate sponsorship. Thank you so much for your support. I urge you to make us a priority project. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have information to hand out?
I did not bring a handout, but I could send that. Yes.
I suggest you do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Villari? Thank you. Julia Kagansky.
Good morning. My name is Julia Kagansky. I'm the director of New Inc., an initiative of the New Museum. We are the first museum-led incubator and the first incubator in New York City for art, design, and technology. 2 years ago, we received REDC support to help start this program, and this year we'll be applying for the Innovation Hotspot program. New Inc. provides a 12-month professional development and leadership training program to an outstanding interdisciplinary and international community of 100 full and part-time members who are building companies to create digital art, wearable technology, virtual reality film, 3D sculpture, data visualization, and more. New Inc. provides critical skills to emerging artists, designers, and technology startups, and has become a key player in the city's cultural innovation infrastructure. New York City has become a major center for tech startups, second only to Silicon Valley, but still lacked an incubator platform geared towards creative entrepreneurs, a group that is often overlooked in traditional business incubator programs. Meanwhile, New York City graduates more art design students than any other U.S. city, but according to a study by the Center for an Urban Future, 88% of graduates feel that they are not afforded opportunities to develop business and entrepreneurial skills, and many of them are leaving for more affordable cities like LA and Berlin. New Inc. addresses the lack of diversity in the tech sector by focusing on art and design founders and practitioners, and also encourages participation from more women, people of color, and people who offer different perspectives. New Inc. has already started to play a transformative role in the local creative and tech communities by fostering innovation through a collaborative ecosystem, creating a pro-growth, pro-jobs environment, and investing in the future. New Inc. provides a supportive, lab-like environment for the development of new ideas, practices, and business models in the pursuit of cultural innovation, and has already acted as a catalyst for the growth of several companies. Just this past year, we've seen 2 of our startups grow their teams from 1 full-time employee to 6, and we've seen similar growth across other startups in our incubator program. They have been raising funding through New Inc.'s entrepreneurial network and plan to set up offices in Brooklyn and Lower Manhattan when they graduate from our program this August. The New Inc. is an extension of the New Museum's mission for supporting new art and new ideas, and continued commitment to re-envisioning artistic practice, curatorial practice, and the role of a museum in the 21st century. Since its founding, the New Museum has led the field as a cultural institution that embraces creative production and as one that fundamentally fosters cross-disciplinary innovation. New Inc. is a natural outgrowth of these values, and we urge you to consider us a priority program and an arts and design incubator that the city sorely needs. Thanks.
Thank you. Questions? Yeah.
Can you refresh my memory? What did you use the first grant for?
To set up the program and facilities. We opened the program in September of 2014. The New Museum has been offering kind of informal professional development services to artists and curators throughout its almost 40-year history, but we formalized the incubator program in September of 2014 when we opened the facilities next door to the museum on the Bowery.
And then how much are you asking for now?
We are applying for the Incubator Hotspot program, which would be, I believe, $125,000 a year over 3 years, so $375,000 total.
Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Heather Corcoran.
Hello. Thank you for having me here and to present to you. My name is Heather Corcoran, and I'm the Executive Director of Rhizome. We're a digital arts organization based primarily on the internet. We're a fully independent affiliate in residence of the New Museum, and our goal is to support an innovative new art form and one of this century's most important art forms that helps us reflect on ourselves as a digital society. Our annual budget is $440,000, and we employ 6 people. Our application would be to the Workforce Investment Program to match fund just 1 new position at $49,000 over 2 years. I've handed out some images because it can be difficult to wrap your head around what digital art is, as it's so new. But since our founding, Rhizome has grown from an email list among a community of avant-garde artists into a thriving nonprofit that directly serves hundreds of artists and millions of audiences each year online. With a focus on digital art and online exhibition publishing, our annual visitorship has grown approximately 1.5 million visitors per year from over 30 countries around the world. We're recognized internationally as a foremost resource on art engaged with technologies. Some of our programs include commissions, so we support emerging artists in New York City to create new work. Over 300 works have been commissioned in the past 10 years, providing much needed monetary as well as curatorial support. We do exhibitions and events, both online and off. At the heart of our work is questioning how we can use digital technologies to provide art experiences to wider audiences online. We also host talks, performances, and exhibitions at the New Museum, in other venues in New York and internationally. We do an annual conference called 7 on 7, which is a signature program pairing leading contemporary artists with startup tech luminaries, challenging them to develop something new over the course of a single day. The past participants have included the founders of New York City-based tech successes like Tumblr and Foursquare, with some of the best contemporary artists to innovate new ideas. We provide leadership to the museum's field. We've presented at over 100 conferences and panels in recent years as go-to experts on contemporary art and technology, helping museums and galleries to understand the potential of the digital environment. We're an organization that reflects two parts of New York City life, two vital parts of New York City life. That's our culture, the city's greatest asset, in my opinion, and technology and innovation, which is our future. Through our website, we strive to reflect the current and future possibility of new art experiences on the web. Central to this will be exhibiting art in new formats, in browser, on mobile, as live streams and more. And therefore, we'll use these funds to appoint a digital editor with an innovative skill set to support this ongoing effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you. Esther Siskine.
Hello, good morning. Esther Siskine, Director of Programs at Solar One. Solar One is putting forth 3 proposals for funding under Cleaner, Greener Communities. We're asking the REDC for its support of all 3 of these transformative programs. I will speak on 2 of the proposals, and my colleague Chris Neidl will speak on Here Comes Solar. Solar One's New York State Community Partnership Program for New York City and Long Island will drive investment in energy efficiency and renewables through outreach, education, and technical assistance that will promote economic development. The New York State Community Partnership, listed as an eligible project under Cleaner Greener, will take Solar One's current outreach and education work with NYSERDA to the next level. Under the program, Solar One will build on the achievements of a decade of outreach in this space, where we deeply engage with over 200 local partners. We have advanced hundreds of local clean energy projects in diverse communities throughout the region and launched the first solar aggregation projects in New York City with about 1 megawatt committed to date. We are NYSERDA's feet on the ground, the go-to people who are called when New York City's real estate associations, community-based organizations, businesses, and residents require assistance on their clean energy projects. We address market barriers by bringing together technical and financial resources in a way that our partners understand, because we understand our partners. But there's a lot more work to be done. We're excited by the new visionary Clean Energy Fund put forth by NYSERDA and have already demonstrated real impacts in many of its programs, including Combined Heat and Power, New York Sun, New York Prize, aggregation, and LMI community engagement. Solar One's New York State Community Partnership for New York City and Long Island will transform the energy landscape with large measurable energy savings and greenhouse gas reductions, while creating business development opportunities and jobs associated with clean energy projects throughout the region's diverse communities. Our second proposal is Clean Tech for CTE and other high schools, which will engage 1,800 high school students and their teachers in STEM, emerging green technology, green industry certifications, and green careers. The Clean Tech program will be delivered in partnership with 3 divisions of the New York City Department of Education. We will provide hard skills training to students from underserved communities so that they can compete for high-growth 21st century careers in the clean economy. Thank you for the opportunity to present today, and we look forward to your support of our proposals as priority projects.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you. Chris Neidl.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to give some information on the third proposal that's included within the larger Cleaner, Greener Communities proposal that Esther just laid out. My name is Chris Neidl. I'm the director of the Here Comes Solar initiative. Today, residential rooftop solar is spreading incredibly fast, globally, nationally, and here in New York City and New York State, but it's not spreading evenly. Due to a variety of context-specific barriers that make solar projects difficult to realize, large parts of the 5 boroughs remain underserved. Solar One's Here Comes Solar initiative is animated by the belief that the growth of solar overall in New York should be achieved through the extension of its benefits to a wider and more diverse spectrum of New Yorkers. This end will only be realized with the introduction of new approaches to catalyzing development in areas of the market that are conventionally considered challenging by the private sector. Drawing on years of project experience in New York City, Here Comes Solar is strategically focused on mitigating and removing market barriers and filling gaps to solar adoption for high potential but underserved customer segments in New York City's solar market. Affordable housing providers, low to moderate income renters, owner-occupants of 1 to 4 family homes, and multifamily condos and cooperatives. And under this proposal, we have goals for each of these different segments, but I want to just quickly provide a little bit of information on 2 key areas that we really hope to expand under support from this proposal, which are in the affordable housing space and serving low-income renters. This year, we had the ability to work on a project in partnership with a consultant, Cordier and Associates, to help a community development corporation based in Hamilton Heights called CLOTH, the Community League of the Heights, to realize what's the first third-party finance solar thermal project in New York State, and there's really only a few in the country. And this example underscores some of the challenges that are faced by these types of organizations. As many of you know, solar has become much more affordable. A lot of that affordability, though, is still based on access to various tax credits, which nonprofit organizations are not able to directly access. So it becomes very important that they're able to be able to have third-party financing and work with installers that can provide those types of lease or power purchase agreements. So our role in this project was to look at all of the buildings that they have in their portfolio, assess them for their solar potential, do an analysis on their energy use, and determine which of their properties were suitable for solar, while educating the organization, which had a very low level of baseline knowledge about solar, about what the opportunity was. Then we connected them with a local solar installer and financier, and were involved in the whole process of negotiation, proposal review. And I'm happy to say that 2 weeks ago, the proposals were signed. So this will be the first of its kind in New York City, and we're very proud that it's on a affordable housing facility. I'll just close as well. We're incredibly happy with the Public Service Committee's order to approve a shared solar program. We have a project already under development in Sunset Park, working with a local community-based organization to develop shared solar for low-income housing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Questions? Thank you, sir.
Great, thank you.
Kristen Hentz.
Good morning. Thank you so much for taking the time out. My name is Kristen Hintz. I'm a project manager with the New York City Economic Development Corporation, working mostly on the Staten Island portfolio. Today I'm here to talk to you about the North Shore Esplanade, which is located on Staten Island's North Shore. The North Shore is a downtown hub situated along the New York Bay with sweeping views of Manhattan, incredible access to public transportation, at least in comparison to other parts of the borough, and has a diverse population that supports many different cultural activities and facilities in the neighborhood. The North Shore is home to 60% of the family's residences that are living in poverty, and so access to community amenities, parks and open space, and jobs is vital in this area. The neighborhood is currently undergoing $1.3 billion in public and private investment, and this project that we're here to talk to you about is the link between the developments and investments that are going on today. Like many other waterfront neighborhoods in New York City, the Esplanade and the North Shore neighborhood were severely damaged during Superstorm Sandy. The current area is made up of cracked sidewalks, unpaved roads, and is intersected by many industrial uses that currently block access between the southern portion of the waterfront and the northern portion, particularly the Staten Island Ferry, which is a link for many people traveling out of Staten Island to work. The proposed project area is located directly between the New Stapleton waterfront, which is slated to be completed later this year, and the Lighthouse Point development. Without this critical link, residents of these new developments and those living in existing housing in the areas are at a disadvantage of accessing the transportation networks that exist. The project was proposed through New York Rising's Community Reconstruction Plan and is one that is supported very much so by the community. New York Rising has allocated $200,000 for a master plan of this project. However, recently, as we were moving forward with the master planning, we realized that there was a FEMA-funded grant out for $40 million to construct shoreline hardening in the way of an esplanade. So we thought this would be a perfect opportunity to seek out funding to complete 100% designs that would inform the future construction project. Today, we're asking for $100,000 to move forward with this project and contribute to final designs that can get this esplanade off and running by 2017. Our immediate next steps are to identify and secure all of our funding sources. We have an estimated $1.2 million design budget and currently have $464,000 of that. We are also looking to bring back a consultant that was on the original project to do designs for this work before Sandy hit, and we'll be looking to reinstate some of the work that they've done and advance it to be resilient and provide enhanced community amenities. We will work directly with the community and the surrounding homeowners associations and residents, as well as the elected officials and community board. And we will be looking to set up maintenance partners with the local community, particularly the homeowners in the area that have expressed interest in restoring this esplanade. We are slated to begin design, if all goes well, in the summer of this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have
questions from Ms. Hens. Cesar.
How you doing? So it's a $200,000 study that you have. You're looking for an additional $100,000.
We are looking to reach our $1.2 million estimated cost for 100% designs. We were given allocated $200,000 part of New York Rising funding, and we have existing capital funding, so we will be looking to raise the remainder of the $1.2 million.
So you're looking to raise 1.2.
Yes.
And you have how much you asking the regional? How much you asking the council
for? 100,000.
For 100.
Today we have around 465,000.
Okay. And the idea is to use that 100,000 to help in the application for the HUD grant for capital money? I kind of lost you there.
We have two separate funding. It's very confusing. We're all as well trying to figure it out. We have about $40 million for construction. We don't yet have a funding source for design work. So we're looking to raise $1.2 million for design. We currently have 465. Part of it is capital, part of it is from New York Rising, and we're looking to raise the remainder of the 1.2.
Okay, but the capital money's in place?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Eduardo Pinazola.
Good morning. My name is Eduardo Peñalosa, and I'm the executive director of a small not-for-profit organization in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. We are requesting the council for a small incentive to start a project in collaboration with Industry City. We've been in Sunset Park for the past 15 years, basically serving recently arrived immigrants from Latin America, mainly Mexico, and with services like ESL, access to primary care health services. We're partnering with NYU Lutheran Medical Center, with CU University of New York. I see Jay Hershenson just left a while ago. He's a good friend. And we've been planning to partner with Industry City for a while with the idea to develop an incubator that will serve the needs of a community that requires this type of service. The idea is to ask the council for a small incentive now of $25,000. We're securing funds for another $25,000, and with this $50,000, we plan to retain an architect to start a facility assessment, design, and planning. The whole project, we think, will cost eventually around $1 million, and it will be a commercial kitchen space to cultivate low-income food entrepreneurs, in particular women and immigrants, and develop culinary workforce skills in South Brooklyn. The project builds on a project feasibility study conducted by HR&A advisors for La Cocina, which is a San Francisco-based incubator Mixteca is going to retain the services of the Cocina, and will seek to retain the design and service of a registered architect. That's what I said. The whole project is going to be about 7,500 square feet in Industry City, and basically this is the request.
Thank you. Who would provide the training to the individuals?
The training will be provided by Industry City. We're going to return their services to do this. They're not direct partners. They're going to be our consultants.
Okay. Other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Jennifer Silverman.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Silverman, and I'm representing Henry Street Settlement's Aprons Art Center, also known as the AAC. We're applying to the New York State Main Street program as a downtown anchor project for $500,000 of a $600,000 renovation project. This project will be comprised of substantial interior renovations to the AAC located at 466 Grand Street in Manhattan's Lower East Side within Community District 3. A cultural institution for 100 years, the AAC delivers renowned and award-winning performances, exhibitions, and a robust arts education program that together serve over 32,000 people annually. Our proposed project will transform the interior of the AAC, allowing for improved traffic flow and more effective use of space. We will transform an underutilized gallery area into a classroom, install a convenient stair that allows for a more natural connection for visitors between our first floor gallery space and a repurposed double-height gallery and classrooms on the second floor, and renovate office spaces. These renovations will result in the creation of a new multi-purpose classroom that can accommodate a variety of activities, increased gallery exhibition space with more capacity for presentations, performances, and programming, an improved visitor experience, and reconfigured administrative space for increased staffing capacity. We believe that our project aligns primarily with the priority of having a transformative role in the community. This project will contribute to the resurgence of the community, improve lives, and expand opportunities for lower-income residents upon its completion. The AAC is a cultural anchor that will offer diverse exhibitions, performances, and programming that represent a multicultural, multimedia spectrum from local to internationally acclaimed artists that contributes to the cultural fabric of the community within these renovated spaces. Also, we will improve lives and expand opportunities by offering low-cost and/or free arts experiences to the community, including educational programming that will help youth and adults build soft skills critical to school and job success. Additionally, the project will create 15 temporary and 1 permanent job and help with the community's economic growth through artist exhibition and performances that drive significant foot traffic to the AAC, with the expectations that our visitors will also patronize local businesses. Finally, this project meets the feasibility criteria set by the REDC through our leveraged funds and sustainability. Thank you for your consideration of this project.
Thank you. Questions from Ms. Silverman? Thank you.
Thanks.
Chris Vanterpool.
Good morning, council representatives and distinguished colleagues. I am Chris Vanterpool, Director of Grants Administration at New York Restoration Project, NYRP. I'm here to highlight why our community garden renovation proposal is well deserving of your support. NYRP's community gardens provide a transformative role in economically distressed communities by improving the quality of life for the surrounding lower income population, and as public space by improving the quality of life for all New Yorkers. A properly renovated community garden provides tranquility, camaraderie, nutrition, and education in areas where public parks and other open space do not exist. Since 1999, NYRP has acquired and held in trust 52 parcels throughout New York City in many of the economically distressed neighborhoods: East New York, East Harlem, South Bronx. These once forgotten, abandoned, blighted properties were adopted by their communities who self-organized to provide for their cleaning and care. We are honored to be able to provide the resources to keep these community assets deeded to the public for this civic purpose. Nobody does what we do. No charitable organization in New York City provides the entire seamless cycle of community engagement, programming, maintenance, design, and capital improvements. All of this is executed by NYRP's dedicated in-house staff. During NYRP's tenure as stewards of community gardens, we have gained great experience and insight into how to realize the full social, educational, and environmental impact of these properties. Thoughtful, cooperative, well-designed renovations increase garden membership, provide the setting for environmental education, improve the productivity of urban agriculture, and create a space to nurture local arts and cultural events. As of yet, NYRP has not been able to reach all of the communities to improve the capacity of their gardens. With the support of this council, NYRP would move forward with the next 3 gardens in need of renovation: the Paradise on Earth Community Garden in Morrisania, the Glover Street Community Garden in Castle Hill, and the Essex Street Community Garden in Cypress Hill. The renovations of these 3 properties is estimated to be a $1.2 million project, and to date, NYRP has secured pledges for over half of this goal. I respectfully request support of $500,000 from this council, specifically through the Environmental Protection Fund municipal grant program administered by State Parks, wherein the council can award up to 20 of the 100 points in that application scoring, so as to fulfill this goal and immediately begin our work. I deeply appreciate your time and attention this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Vanterpool? Thank you. Are there any other speakers who wish to be heard? There being none, I want to thank my colleagues on the council, especially those who were able to stay for the entire hearing, and thank all of you who have provided public testimony. The public forum is now adjourned. Thank you, and have a good day.